Have you noticed in some YouTube videos that the timeline is not solid red underneath the video that's playing? It's broken up into small segments. Uh, those are chapter markers. As you can see in this snapshot, when you put your cursor over the timeline, it will identify uh, the topic of each of those segments that you have in the video. The chapter list itself lives in the YouTube description section. And once you have each of the chapters identified, all you have to do is just put the time hack, which is hours or minutes and seconds, and then a one-liner description behind each of the chapters, and YouTube will incorporate this into your video. Okay, how does this chapter marker helper utility work? Well, in order to make chapter markers, you're going to need two pieces of information. One is the time hack, minutes and seconds, or if it's a long video, hours, minutes, and seconds, that goes in front of each chapter. The second thing, obviously, is the name or some way of identifying what chapter you're talking about. In this side over here, I'm just going to use this video as an example. It's 2 minutes and 38 seconds long. So we're going to say that, say at 48 seconds is where chapter 2 starts. So once you've found it, click on it so you get the red ball in front or right on top of it. And then, without moving the cursor, do a right click on the mouse, come down here and click on copy video URL at current time. So now we've got that spot on the video copied. The utility for helping making chapter markers is running in the background, so all you got to do at this point is press and hold the control key and click the center mouse button, the wheel button, and click. What will happen is Notepad will pop and it will be filled with some helpful, hopefully, information. But if you notice over here, you've got 000, which would be hour, minutes, and seconds, and the word intro. You could change that to be something more identifying as to the video you're working on. Maybe something like this right here, but it doesn't matter. The main thing is this 48 seconds right here, you notice has been moved over, and now it's ready for you to enter the information that identifies this next chapter. So we'll say after the intro, and some sort of description that goes on behind that. Once you have that finished, just leave it there and move your cursor back over to the video. So you've got chapter 1 ID'd. Now let's try to find where chapter 2 is. So let's say, well, okay, how about 1 minute and 22 seconds? Click the timeline so you move the red ball over and do the same thing. Right click, copy video URL at current time, and when you have that, press and hold the control key and the center mouse button, and bingo, you now have 1 minute and 23 seconds, and you have that identified. Let's go on to chapter 3. This is so much fun I can hardly stand it. How about 2 minutes exactly? Click it and right click, copy the URL, and shift and hit the center button, and there you go, 2 minutes. One more just for luck. 2 minutes, 28 seconds. Click it, got the red ball underneath you, right click, capture the URL, and there you go. Okay, at this point, assuming you've got all of your chapters identified, all you have to do is copy this and go to the description section for that video inside the YouTube Studio. So I can copy this and bring it in here and paste, and that's the only thing I need to do is to go up here and save, because once it's saved, YouTube will process this information and turn it into chapter markers. These links will become, or these numbers I should say, will become actual links, and the red timeline under that video will no longer be a solid red. It'll be broken up into segments which represent intro and these 4 chapters. So using the utility certainly does not provide anything that you could not do on your own. That is admitted, but it is a lot faster and a lot cleaner, if you will. You don't have to worry about getting the numbers wrong. It's populated into the notepad by, on its own. So if this sounds like an interesting tool that you could use in the toolbox, you might want to consider it. It is beneficial on 2 fronts, as I see it. That being, it helps you, the author of the YouTube videos, because this information, this chapter related information, is going to be picked up by search engine scans and will result in higher SEO placement, because it knows in more detail what you have in that video and where you have it. Secondly is your viewer. When a viewer comes in, take for example if this is a tutorial, what they really may be interested in is what you're talking about in chapter 3. They've already got 1 and 2 done at home, but they're stumped on whatever it is 3 is. This gives them the option of clicking this particular link and going directly to your video at the starting point, and that is a plus for them, keeps them happy. I just did a refresh on this page, and I can see that it still hasn't been turned into links yet by YouTube, but it may take an hour or two, but they will get to it. I hope you have found this interesting, and if you have, I hope it brings something to the table for you. Be safe.